What if there was an intro program that you could put all your new hires through to catch them up to speed, to get them on the same page, and to flourish in your salon? Hey, I'm Kayla, and I am your host of the Profitable Salon Owner Podcast. And today I have invited Elise Rogers on the podcast to talk to me about their associate program. If you're like, I have no idea what that is, you're in luck. We will talk about what it is before we dive into hers. But she leads the associate program in her salon. So, Elise, I'll let you explain. Hi, by the way. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me what salon you work for. Tell me how long you've done it. Tell me a little bit about you.
Sure. So I've been in the industry for about 15 years now. I originally went to schooling in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and now live in Grand Prairie, Alberta, where our salon is the Headroom Incorporated with Danielle Cherwick, which I'm sure she's been on here before.
Literally the podcast last week.
Yeah, exactly. We have 3 locations now and the local hair school as well. So education's been a huge passion of ours. I've been a stylist for 15 years, but I've also been a Redken educator. And yeah, education's my passion when it comes to hair and building up all the new hairstylists and helping elevate this industry.
That's so cool. So you are a shareholder in your salon, correct?
Correct. Yes, I became a shareholder January of last year.
Wow, that's very cool. So how long did you work at the Headroom before you became a shareholder?
The Headroom, it's actually this month, it'll be 8 years. So I was a stylist there, like I said, I think it would have been about 5.5, 6 years. We started the conversation after only about 3 or 4 years about shareholding. And of course it takes, many bits and pieces to put that together. But yes, it finally happened.
Details.
Yeah. But it was amazing at, becoming part of a salon culture that had a bigger growth pattern aside from just working more behind the chair. So really great option, and I was very excited to be part of it.
Yeah, I love that. I had Danielle on last week, and she was saying she is expanded because she saw growth opportunities in her team. And so she's expanded to help that. And I just love the whole model. So today we're going to talk about the associate program. So first, Elise, I'd love to know, what is an associate program? How can we explain that to our listeners?
An associate program essentially is when you're bringing on new stylists, most likely fresh out of school. And they just kind of need that extra timing, whether it's for their apprenticeships or just need that little bit of extra training and a little bit of hype up before they're on the floor themselves. So this is a whole program we've designed to help kind of train them as an associate, where they get partnered up with a mentor stylist, usually one of your educators or lead stylists, and they basically become their right arm. So we like to explain it as more of their partner versus being any sort of assistant. And it's just gradually growing their confidence and building up their business skills before they're out behind the chair on the floor themselves.
Wow. So now, you said that's usually fresh out of school. Do you guys put any new hires through the program, no matter where they come in, what level they come in as, or only if they don't have a lot of experience?
For the most part, everyone coming in will go through the associate program. We do have a fast track program just to make sure that they're in line with our salon's culture and just know everything aside from just their technical skills, but a good way for us to verify them, make sure that they're kind of up to par before they're out on their own. So most cases, it's all the new fresh hires, but yeah, absolutely, we'll have regular stylists go through it as well.
Yeah, because I love how the associate program would help, even if people have a lot of experience, they still have they get to shadow to basically learn the ropes of your specific salon, because we know that no salon's the same, and so everybody has different rules, different styles, different people, things like that. So it helps everybody get up to speed on this is how we run our salon and get comfortable in that space, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes, because I know when I finished school myself, I wasn't offered an associate program at that time. So to now be able to offer this to other people, whether they're new stylists or have some experience, it's a really great option.
Now, was there an associate program before you, did you go through an associate program?
No. So that we had one kind of. So we only had a couple of master stylists at the time. When I joined the company, we were quite small. There were less than 10 stylists and just one salon. So to see the growth that we've had in the last 5 years has been incredible, and mostly due to this new associate program that we kind of put together. So it was more kind of wing it, partner up with a lead stylist and we'll show you the ropes. But it wasn't until a few years ago that we decided to actually put this program together and make it concrete and have everybody go through it.
So have you been a part of it since the beginning, or did you kind of just adopt the process?
Yeah, no, I've been there from the beginning. So it was actually not that we ever want to talk about COVID again, but it was during the COVID years that gave me that opportunity myself. I was promoted to director of education in our company at the time, and it gave me that opportunity to actually like create everything from, you know, our books to our just the whole program in itself. So I've been there from the beginning of it.
So you personally like built out like the processes and what it was going to look like, desired outcome, all that stuff. So you knocked it all out and then rolled it out inside your company.
Yeah, like I remember we had this one meeting at Danielle's house, and you know, we had a few core leadership people together during that. Mostly, I think it was our executive team, and we powered through. We had done a few trainings for building an associate program, mostly through high performance. And we just had this one afternoon when we had sticky notes everywhere that just said, what do we want included in this program? Where should we start? How many levels should we have? And we just kind of brainstormed together in one afternoon what we should do. And then I kind of took that together myself and planned it all out.
Oh, I love that. That's huge. Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit more. I love how that came about. So what are some like key components of an associate program? When you're starting to build this out, what are you looking for that you want to accomplish with it? What are some key components?
For sure. And I was like, these are the things I wish I knew when I first started also. So perfect. There are lots of trials and tribulations. But what we've learned is essentially you want to give them a growth path. So we really kind of broke down what services and how many levels we should have and what services should go into those levels. You know, when it comes to, the service side of things. So you're starting out easy. You're starting out with blowouts, kids cuts, men's cuts, just because those new stylists are going to be getting a lot of those types of services in the beginning, at least in our salon company. And then each level will kind of grow from there. Then you'll start introducing colors and foiling and blonding and all that as it goes on. So a strict sort of game plan of how many levels and how you want to grow that is really important. But you also need to build in that culture as well. So we start out with, you know, a lot of things like your learning style specifically. So we need to know how they're going to learn and how they're going to receive the information, personality tests, that kind of thing. So we can plan them out and partner them up with their mentors a little bit better, because we've had trials with that too. Like certain people will learn better other ways and certain mentors will teach better in other ways. So really important to bring in that sort of personality side of things as well. But we also learned recently that it's really important to put like a business structure in there too. So there needs to be business building metrics in this associate program. And why I say that is because we've had stylists go through the program really quickly because their technical skills are just like on par and they're bubbly and they're great and they fit the culture, but didn't have that kind of business background to sink them in. So they finish the associate program really quickly, but then they're sitting, you know, for months to years, still working at an hourly wage or just not being able to build up that clientele. So when I say business metrics, it's more like, are they consistent with their social media postings? How many clients are they bringing in themselves? So how many referrals are they getting? How full is their book each day on each of their opportunity days? Because we start out with 2 opportunity days and then 3 days with a mentor stylist. So the opportunity days are the days that they're actually working on clients. So pre-books, referrals, social media are also what we include.
That's huge. Like I honestly didn't even think about that aspect. It's almost like you're building, like, yes, you're getting up to speed on your, there's a whole the benefit to you, but also the benefit to them of giving them a complete foundation of this is how you do, you're touching on all the key components of building themselves as a stylist to be able to get to even become the 6-figure stylist. We just celebrated our 6-figure earners at our last destination training, and to see putting them on a path for success, to be this is how you lay that foundation, you start going up from there. That's huge. I love that. So when you guys were building it, like you said, there's lots of trials and errors. So what has been did you kind of just had to start at point A, start rolling it out, and you just modify it as you go?
Yes, because at that time, I believe it was only Danielle and I that were mentors at that point. So we just kind of rolled it out, and we were trying to figure out how much time the stylist needed in each level. So that was a big one. So we've really kind of shrunk that down and made sure. Again, we said we have a fast track program, so they'll finish a level anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks. So that was a big trial of some people. It would take, 3 months to get through level 1, and some people were 2 weeks. So really kind of paying attention to the timelines was really important.
Now, do you guys adjust the timelines based off of the people, or based off, is it with one size fits all, or do you guys adjust it based off of the people?
Definitely adjust it. That's this industry. It's, ever changing, and techniques are different, and people's learning styles are different. So it's definitely adjusted for some people. And we've had, associates come in, and these first 3 levels are no brainers. They've already been doing a lot of technical cuts and that sort of thing. So they kind of blow through this first beginning process. But then there's some who, it might be the opposite. These first few levels might take a little bit more time because they're struggling maybe on the business side of things or something like that. But it always kind of ends up tying together, because whether they're slower in the beginning, they usually kind of pick it right back up in the last few levels. Whereas if they're taking, they're going through the first few levels quickly, we're kind of checking and seeing like, oh, is this actually working? Are they actually retaining this stuff? Or are they just trying to get through it as fast as possible? And then we kind of put the brakes on it and make sure that they're doing everything, up to our standards and our culture before they're out on the floor themselves.
That's huge. Yeah, because it kind of puts them through every little piece of it. So you can kind of, see their strengths, see where they're good at, see the other things. How do you guys handle the conversation for, like, say a seasoned stylist comes in and you're like, oh, you got to go through this associate program. How do you handle that conversation with them on how you tell them, well, you got to go through this associate program? What does that look like?
I think anyone who's coming in as a senior stylist, regardless, of how many years they've been into it, they've clearly seen another side, and they've come to us for a reason. So even if it's, just moving locations, that sort of thing, they've seen what works and what doesn't. So when we approach them, because we're such an education-based company, and they know that before they're getting hired anyway. So it's just kind of another part of our culture, and they're always really warm and welcoming. And like I said, if somebody comes in who has, really great experience, but they might be starting brand new with a fresh clientele and still need to build that in themselves. So this is only going to help them with that, and they can get through the program in as quick as 2 months.
Yeah. So you say it's not like, so I like that. It's not one size fits all. It's like, it's catered to you. So if you already know this stuff, checking boxes, we got it. But it will give a chance for you to make sure, like, do you understand the full scope of it? And then that when every single person graduates the associate program, they have gone through all the same things, and again, laid that foundation.
Exactly. And a lot of it even has to do with the verbiage and the culture that we build too, because we, they may be possibly changing color brands. So we're specifically a Redken salon, and they may be coming from a different line, or we use Michael's Cole over the top workbooks as well, and it gives us the verbiage and the language within our culture. So it's really important to kind of get grounded with that too, just to move on with future things too.
Wow, I love that. Well, we're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to continue talking about, I'm going to dive in with Elise's specific associate program and get down to some details and some things that she's learned in building hers. So stick around, and we'll be right back.
Are you ready to increase your retention and revenue and convert website traffic to clients? Then you're ready for Maya. Maya creates better business relationships by pairing the right clients with the right beauty professionals. Use promo code HPSA for your first 2 months free. Visit joinmaya.com to get started.
Welcome back to the Profitable Salon Owner Podcast. I've been hanging out with Elise. We are talking about an associate program. If you've never heard of an associate program, it's pretty epic. And listen to the first half if you missed it, because we've been diving into it's kind of like laying a foundation for your stylist when you come into the salon. And so, Elise, I want to ask, like, when building an associate program, how, like, if you bottled up your associate program and give it to another salon, how customizable does it need to be? Like, how much is it, we do this because it serves our salon, versus like one size fits all?
Yeah, this is definitely fully customizable. I had mentioned earlier, like, we built out our level system based on what our new stylists will likely be receiving as clients from us, what we'd be feeding them. But it's really kind of up to you guys. Like, if you're, strictly an extension or blowout bar, obviously that's where you're going to want to start, because you're going to want them to get the most experience with the things you're doing the most right away.
So did you, so you said the level system. So I know, like, so when they start in the associate program, are they level 1, or do they have to get to level 1?
Yeah, so level 1, if you break it down, we have 6 levels specifically. Again, can be fully customizable depending on how quickly you want them to go through and what you want to focus on. There's just so much content when you're bringing in business and styling techniques and personality-based things. There's just so much. So we found 6 levels worked really well for us. And they, like I said, they automatically start at level 1. But what happens is we have assessments at the end of each of our levels, both with written assessments that I've created, mostly just multiple choice and essay type questions. But they have a written assessment. They have some book work, like for our over the top workbook that Michael Coles created. They have a couple of chapters they need to complete in that. And again, that just focuses a lot on, consultation and verbiage and, backroom stuff, like kind of covers all those bases. And then they have a technical assessment where they need to bring in models themselves, and they don't move on to the next level until they finish all of those assessments on top of, their business building requirements as well. So those all change up a little bit within each level. We don't like to talk about the assessments of like being a pass or a fail. They're more just measurements for us to know where they're at within the program. So especially when it comes to the technical services, we just want to make sure that they are going to be comfortable in a reasonable timeline to provide the service without needing any help from anybody, and that the client's going to be satisfied with both the experience and the service. So once they've completed that assessment and we've, assessed it and made sure that everything's good and they've passed, then they'll move on to the second level.
We're Forest, born on the salon floor and built for and by hair and beauty professionals like you. Forest is your marketing, your reporting, your reputation management. You need one easy-to-use system that does it all. Forest, together we grow.
So now, how often do you have people like take the assessment and you're just like, oh wow, no, they're not ready to pass?
I mean, it happens. Let's be real. But again, you just have to kind of approach it as, okay, I think we still have a few things that we want to work on. And once that happens, obviously their mindset kind of shifts and they really want to be able to get through it and be able to get those extra clients behind their chair as well. So it happens a few times, but it really kind of puts them into drive. And then it knows, as us as mentors as well, where we need to focus on their learnings too. Because we're like, obviously we haven't covered, how to do a fade as much as we need to. So it just opens everybody's eyes up to, where they need to work on and what they need to practice before they can move on.
So when they finish the associate program, do they finish at level 6?
Yeah. So level 6 is the final level, and it basically sums everything up, and their assessments are essentially going to be like color corrections. So it's kind of everything in one. Once they pass all of those assessments, the written assessments, and we have to make sure that their business building's there too. So by level 6, they essentially need to be, their days need to be at least 75% full. 60% request clients. They need to have at least 50% of their clients rebooked, just so that we know that they're set up for all of their days after they're out from behind the chair. So another thing that we bring into, I had mentioned in the first half, were our opportunity days. So our opportunity days are days where their schedule is fully open. And in the beginning, even in level 1, they're able to take on any client as long as it's someone who's requesting them. So this is where, we're expecting them to bring in their friends and their family members and people who are going to support them and likely pre-book and do all the things. So that's what we want them to focus on, instead of just like hammering them with all of these transient type clients when it comes to men's cuts, kids cuts, that kind of thing. So obviously we know those ones are a little bit harder when it comes to pre-booking and that kind of thing. So we really want them to try and build up their own clientele, and especially what they want to be doing too. We're a salon culture where, we're going to help you in whichever area you want to specialize in. That's where we're going to help promote you. So we always say, those are the type of clients you want to be bringing in. And then as they move through the program, they will eventually start opening up extra opportunity days. So that was a trial and error for us in the beginning. They only started with one opportunity day, which was usually a Saturday. And then they were with their mentor the other 4. But we've decided, nope, we need to start putting them in with 2 right away, which will usually end up being, a weekday or an evening where they're able to also bring in more clientele and just start kind of like feeding their business quicker. And then by about halfway through the program, they'll open up a 3rd opportunity day until they're ready by the end of it, where they'll be full-time behind the chair.
I love that, because then it's like people don't come in, they're like, like come in just doing kids cuts. Like they still are getting to practice and do what they like. They went to school to do all these things that they want to be doing. And so there's opportunities for them to do what they're passionate about and do it exciting. And then they have days where like they're working through the associate program, but they're still able to come in and be the stylist that they want to be and fill their books and have the opportunity. So it's not like they come in and go back to school. It's like they come in and they're getting like a foundational support of like, this is how we work, and you support them so much, which is cool. It's like, hey, you're going to be learning these things and we're going to be alongside you, helping you learn them and helping you be successful. I love that. What has been some of like the biggest takeaways and biggest like things that you've seen in your stylists, the difference in them since starting the associate program?
Are you still guessing what your color services are actually costing you? Guessing the cost of your services is eating into your profits. With Salon Scale, you can separate your parts from your labor and charge for every drop of color used. Stop letting your back bar drain your earnings. Click the link in the description to get 10% off of your first year or start your free trial today. Salon Scale. Profit starts with every mix.
Number one is obviously confidence. You know, how many times we've had, stylists coming in, whether they're fresh out of school or wanting to start, it's always been a confidence issue. And, I came from back in the day where we just jumped out of school and they said, fake it till you make it was the tagline. Like, just tell the client you technically you've been in school for a year. So just tell them you've been doing hair for a year and just fake it. And, it doesn't work out very well all the time. Some people, sure, flourish diving right in. But, Danielle and I, we both went in with that type of scenario. So being able to kind of build this foundation and give them this confidence of building up their business and their technical skills before they're out on full time has been number one. But the things we've learned about what we've added in over the last couple of years, so having these business metrics, having timelines on it, making sure that their timing for services is up to par before they're out is really big, because the last thing you want are, stylists coming in fresh out of school right away and they're taking, an hour to an hour and a half for a men's cut. Right. So we're making sure that we have that timeline down to like maximum 40 minutes by the time they're through the program. So it's really kind of building, this full foundation stylist before they're out on the chair.
Yeah, it's almost like they went to school to learn all the things, and now they come to the social program to sharpen all the things. To like, okay, now let's get you. Yeah, I love that, because it's like almost different phases, and then just really would set them up for success. To be like, one, I love how it would really highlight what do you want to be doing, because you're touching on everything. So, what are you most passionate about? Where are your strengths? Where are your weaknesses? What can we help you support on? And really brings the energy to new hires of like, you're coming into this, but we've got your back, and you're going to go through this and the benefit. So when you set up the associate program with your staff as they come in, like, what's the communication like? Like, how do you communicate with them the benefits of it? Like, how do you get them bought into it? How do you get them, what's the communication like?
Communication always, we're very open. So when we're doing the interview process, we actually create a third interview that's called a trial day. So the stylist is actually coming in for usually about 3 hours, and we try to plunk it in a day where we're actually quite busy, because that's the time we want to see how they're going to kind of like step up, how they're going to mingle with the other stylists. And it really gives our stylists the opportunity to kind of, introduce themselves to them and just to kind of see if they're going to fit in a culture sense. So the stylists are always very well aware of anyone new coming in before, they even sign the contract. So they come in, and then they're also introduced to their mentor stylist. So we partner them up, with one stylist specifically, and that's kind of who we want them to be with majority of the time. We also, though, have a mentorship group of stylists that are able to take on associates. So we really thrive on this new stylist coming in and being able to learn from everybody, because like I said, our whole salon especially, but especially this mentorship group, we all have different strengths, different teaching styles, that sort of thing. So we're really open to, allowing the stylist and communicating to the other stylists that if they need to be pulled over, if they want to learn something new, that they're really welcome to do that. Even though, it works the best with being partnered with one stylist when it comes to their assessments and that sort of thing, but we want them to be learning from everybody. So everybody's in the whole company is very open to, helping mentor and grow these new stylists.
I love that. I love that you go on a job and like, you know, the other stylists, like they even have a sense of like, you know, it helps them. So like your associate program's helping the new hires, but then it's also helping the seasoned stylists, senior stylists to be able to just teach and learn how to teach and learn how to share their knowledge with other people. So you have 3 salons. I know you have 45 stylists.
Yes.
45 staff?
Yes, staff, yes.
And so when you have an associate come in to the like a salon, so say one of the 3 locations, when you guys hire, do you hire specifically for that salon or do you hire for the whole company?
Ready to transform your business and improve your salon's profitability? With Lonza's 3-in-1 technology and intermixable shades, your hair color inventory is streamlined with limitless creativity behind the chair. Click the link below to unveil the secret to salon success.
We usually hire for the whole company. Obviously, there's going to be holes in specific salons of where they're needed. But in general, if they're needed everywhere, we just kind of partnered up with like who's going to be the best mentor for them. And sometimes it comes down to location. Like we're not in an overly big city, but both of our salons are on, you know, the opposite ends. So sometimes it comes down to location. Yeah. Sometimes it comes down to the schedule of who we'd like to partner them up with too, because we have some mentors who are, you know, primarily evenings and weekends, but we also have some mentors who are Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 type stylists. So lots of factors, but like I said, it's usually we'll hire for where it's needed.
So you balance between like the placement of where the person lives, and it's like you're open to what would work best for the person coming in and what would work best for the mentor. So you kind of take it all into account and place them.
That's right. There's a lot to take into account.
Yeah, there's a lot to juggle. I totally understand why, but that's really cool that you like, and you lead it, right? You head it on. It's like your little baby that you're taking care of.
Yes, director of education is my title, so that's all my little baby for sure. And like I said, it also comes down to, you know, if the mentor is ready. So when our mentors have an associate, they essentially will take the associate usually about halfway through. And once that associate's now opened up more opportunity days than they are mentorship days, that stylist needs to hire another mentor at the time. So it's a nice transition because then this associate who's almost ready to be gone can help train the new associate coming on. So sometimes we're hiring specifically for that mentor too. So those are things that we want to take into account when it comes to schedule and, you know, personality and learning styles, that kind of thing. We really want to make sure it's a good match.
Wow, this has been fascinating. I love, my favorite part about being the host of this podcast is I'm learning so much on the other side of the industry and just how people are running their businesses and things like that. So if you are following along and you learned a lot of valuable information, comment valuable. And if you want to know how to design build an associate program in your salon, comment associate. If you're listening to this, you can find us anywhere on social and just respond associate. And we will reach out to you and help you build your own associate program because of the value that it brings. We have a number of salons in our academy who run associate programs. And so thank you so much, Elise, for hanging out with me and sharing all your expertise. It sounds like a lot of things to consider, and you've had a lot of experience, which is the best way to learn is through experience. And the best way to get ahead is to fail fast. And so that's really incredible. And that's really fun to hear about. So thank you for hanging out with me today. I honestly feel like we could talk for another 30 minutes about it. So maybe we'll have to have you on again. So part two about it. Yeah. So thank you so much, Elise. This has been a lot of fun. If you're listening, hopefully you got a lot of value out of it. And we will see you next time on the Profitable Salon Owner Podcast.
You've been listening to the Profitable Salon Owner Podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave us a review, and check us out at profitablesalon.com for more episodes, content, and to help you turn your salon into the business you've always dreamt of.